this meeting of the Oskaloosa City Council to order. Today is Monday, March 2nd, 2026. We start with the invocation from First Christian Church.
Shall we go to God in prayer? Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for the gift of community and for the people of Oskaloosa. As the members of the City Council gather tonight, we ask for wisdom that listens carefully, courage that seeks what is right, and humility that serves the common good. Guide their conversations and decisions. Help them to disagree with respect, to speak with clarity, and to act with integrity. May their work promote justice, strengthen neighborhoods, support local businesses, and care for the most vulnerable among us. Bless all who serve the city in visible and in unseen ways. And bless the citizens of Oskaloosa, that together we may build a community marked by compassion, responsibility, and hope. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mine's on.
Mine too. Roll call, please.
Not doing that.
Here.
Holbert,
Here.
Ibrahim,
Here.
Sword,
Here.
Alden,
Here.
Caligari,
Here.
Dross,
Here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. Community comments. This is the opportunity to receive comments for the community for concerns whether or not they're included in the current agenda. The community is encouraged to speak before the mayor and city council. Asked to keep statements brief, time limited to no more than 3 minutes. Any questions are to be asked to the city staff, council members, or the mayor prior to speaking to the full council, so concerns can be properly researched and answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. For those wishing to provide comment during the meeting, there's a yellow slip that's provided at the podium before the meeting. The mayor calls the names to step forward for public comment. And then we also ask that to ensure a productive meeting and all voices heard, please keep any side conversations to a minimum. Thank you for helping us maintain a quiet atmosphere so everyone in the meeting can follow the discussion. Let's start off with Allison McGuire and Beth Brostrom.
I guess we got back.
We got that.
Yes, I want to thank you. Yes, I'm Beth with the Main Street Oskaloosa. I'm the chair of the Economic Vitality Committee, and I represent Main Street on our chamber board for their monthly meetings. We want to thank you for filling out our survey, our Main Street survey. I know there was a community survey in December or so, but there was a Main Street survey that Main Street, Iowa, we were one of 6 Main Street communities that were eligible to, they gave us the provision to send out surveys, and they calculate them. Right now they're calculating them, and we will be having a March 30th meeting at 5:30 at Bridget's for community input, of which you are each invited to attend, March 30th at 6:30. I have to tell you that we did have some reels that promoted the campaign. 2 on my committee, it was Eddie Pearson and
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Brian
Myers. Yes.
They were a hoot.
They put out 3 reels during our campaign for the survey, and the first reel was they were sitting in the boardroom with a box of chocolates, and it got over 10,000 views.
Oh, nice.
The next reel, they were in sunglasses on the fire department corner talking, and it got 21,000 views for that. And on February 20th, they were in the bandstand and received 6.6 thousand for that. And you know, while I'm up here, I just have to push our committee with Mike Gipple, have a recruitment packet that Main Street wanted to give out to anyone who came to the office, chamber office, and asked if there were any spaces available, what's the climate of Oskaloosa? And so we made a business recruitment with flyers about the core grant and the 2 grants that are Main Street Iowa yearly. But I think this is amazing. This comes from reports through the Greater Des Moines Project and so forth. And so this gives some people, the median age of Oskaloosa is 37.7 years. I think that's so good that we are in that university. Also, it has here how many, I'll give you one more thing. It says how much retailers make, how much is an outlook for 5 years from now. It shows we have about 4,000 that come into the city to work. About 4,000 leave the city to go home. So we have our work cut out for us. And that's all I have.
Beth, I have a question. So you said that you're going to have the input thing on March 30th. Is there a theme? I mean, were you surprised? Have you guys gotten to see some of the responses, or do you have?
Yes.
What was one of the? I mean, was there a high and low that was surprising or anything? I'm just curious.
No, we have not seen the results, but we were happy if we got 737
I saw that.
ballots back. That was Mike's goal, and we got 1,001 back.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Very good.
Awesome.
That's really good.
Yes.
The mayor's office, if you look behind the desk, there's a small refrigerator.
Sean, I'll get it for you. He's on the do. News.
I feel that one.
Did she say 5:30 or 6:30?
I was just curious.
6:30. Mr. Derek Koenig.
Derek.
Good evening, everyone. Council, mayor, city staff, EMS. My name is Derek Koenig. I work for Oskaloosa Food Products. I'm here representing our company with our current struggles in wastewater, which we talked about at great length 2 weeks ago, but I just wanted to provide you all a quick update, which I'm sure Mr. Murphy will also do at some point either tonight or in other times. We had a really good meeting last Friday, I thought, with city staff, productive. I do apologize, I'm not exactly the greatest public speaker, so if I go too fast or if you can't understand me, let me know. At the meeting, ISG shared our plan to move forward, and we're kind of taking a 3-pronged approach to our corrective actions at this point. We've identified a chemistry that may have been incompatible with the proteins within our product, which ultimately left us in a spot of unable to treat, if you will. Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer to recognize that, so that's where this 3-pronged approach comes in. We've changed that chemistry, it's eliminated from our property, and it won't be used in our process again. That came based on a recommendation of a supplier. So with that, we also have been working to transport and dispose of all of our wastewater that is on our site currently to basically restart again. And we're also, as many of you know, we are building, well, we built a building within 2 weeks. We had a dissolved air flotation unit, or a DAF, delivered last Wednesday. We hope to have it in service by this Wednesday. Samples ready to pull on Thursday to get us back, hopefully well below the threshold, so that we're working more towards a dilution situation for you rather than an added situation into the public sanitation here. So we plan to share more information about the root cause as it becomes available. We're still trying to run some analytical testing, and we'll be as forthcoming as we can with staff as we go forward. I think we sent over quite a bit of things on Friday. Our team from ISG, Rachel, has been absolutely wonderful. And if anyone ever has any questions, feel free to reach out. I think the staff is going to join us next Friday.
Yeah, this week we'll have the normal meeting, and then next week.
Yeah, come on site and see how the DAF works, and hopefully we can make some progress by then and be ready to, God willing, let us discharge back to the city. It's getting awfully costly to run out 6-ish loads a day out to Des Moines. So that's all I have.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Derek.
Okay, that's it for community comments. Next up is the consent agenda. These are all items that are acted upon and treated as in one motion because they're generally routine in nature. I did want to draw the council's attention to item E, which is the resolution setting a time and place for a public hearing for considering the property tax rate for the next year. That's going to be on March 3rd of 2026. Also, item F.
March 3rd.
March 3rd is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Excuse me. Which day is it? It wasn't 23rd. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're just seeing if we were paying attention.
Item F is a resolution scheduling a public hearing for March 16th. That's for getting into a development agreement with Oskaloosa Multifamily LLC. And then also item G, which is the third reading of the ordinance having to do with setting the sewer rates. Do we have a motion of support for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Holbert,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 7, this is the announcement of vacancies we have on various boards and commissions. The Airport Commission has a vacancy for a term ending December of 2028. Building Code Board of Appeals, we've got one vacancy for an ex officio member. Civil Service Commission, a vacancy for a term ending in March of 2029. The Historic Preservation Commission has 2 vacancies for terms ending in December of 2028. And the Planning and Zoning Commission, we have 1 vacancy, and that's for a term ending in April of 2027. Getting into the regular agenda, first up is item A, to the update from MCRF on hosting the Little League Central Region Tournament.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and City Council. So invited Mackenzie Burke, General Manager of MCRF, in tonight to speak on behalf of MCRF's. Big news that as of February 18th, we no longer need to keep it a secret and say we have something but we can't tell you. So I want to welcome her in and thank her for her leadership in making this happen.
Hi, everyone. Like Stu said, I'm Mackenzie Burke. I was here in December, I think, but like Stu said, it was a secret, so I couldn't tell everybody what was going on. But I'm the general manager for Mahaska Community Recreation Foundation, and I'm here this evening to officially inform the council that Oskaloosa has been selected through our regional bid process to host the 2026 Little League Junior Softball Central Region Tournament, which will take place this July, the 23rd through the 28th at the Lacey Recreation Complex. And this is so this is one of only a handful of regional tournaments held across the country each year, and it will bring championship softball teams across the central region, with the winning team from this tournament advancing to represent our region at the Junior Softball World Series in Kirkland, Washington. So what does this mean for Oskaloosa? This is not just a tournament, it's a nationally recognized Little League event that will bring hundreds of athletes, coaches, and their families, as well as umpires. The families and spectators will travel from across the Midwest, and there will be 7 days of games and community engagement. There will be regional media coverage and live streamed broadcasts, hotel stays, restaurant traffic, retail activity, and tourism spending. And then, of course, new visitors who have never been to Oskaloosa before. And this all aligns directly with the tourism and economic development initiatives that we've been working with the city as well as the chamber, giving us the opportunity to showcase our community on a regional and national stage. So the next slide will show our event timeline. The teams will arrive between the 21st and the 22nd. And then the 23rd will be our first round of games, as well as the 23rd being our welcome ceremony, which I will go into on the next slide. But that early round of games we'll play during the day is our hope, because it's July in Oskaloosa, Iowa. But then we're hoping that on the 27th and 28th that we'll move our games to the night to try to get more visitors out and about and local support at those games. Next slide, Alex. So the exciting thing is for our welcome ceremony, we are going to incorporate our welcome ceremony with Sweet Corn Serenade. This week falls perfectly to do that, and so I have been working in partnership with the Chamber, Main Street, and Stu to plan a great event that we can combine our teams and the community. So to make this happen, we will introduce the participating teams between the band break, and then we'll provide a memorable welcome experience, integrate the visitors into an already established downtown event, while also showcasing Oskaloosa's hospitality culture and local businesses. We also think it would be really cool to see a bunch of 12 and 14-year-olds with an ear of corn. Then that'll be the next slide. So we've had a tournament planning committee. We've all been together working on this since December in secret. And that is my staff at MCRF, the City of Oskaloosa, with Stu, Oskaloosa Main Street with Angela Foster, the Chamber with Deanne DeGroat, and then we have Oskaloosa Little League, Mahaska County Little League, and a Little League District 4 representative. And then Musco was gracious with their long standing partnership with Little League, that they've helped us with the connections with Little League, and they've also given us their communication team, because my staff is small and we are not used to it. So we've been very blessed to have that committee together. And then, how can the city help? So as we prepare to host these teams from across the region, we are asking the city's partnership in helping us promote and support the event through promotion and awareness. So sharing any tournament information through city communication channels, or featuring the event on the city website, newsletter, or any social media, as well as community engagement. So encouraging any local departments, boards to participate in the welcome efforts, and then coordinate with the local businesses to display welcome signage. And then just help amplify the message that we're trying to put out there with volunteer opportunities, and that it's exciting for the city. And then any event support would just be continued collaboration with the Parks and Rec Department, and then helping ensure our community is prepared for to host the influx of people that we're bringing. And then hosting this tournament is a significant milestone not only for MCRF and Iowa District 4 Little League, but for the entire Mahaska community. So we look forward to continuing to work together to make this a welcoming, safe, and memorable experience to all who visit Oskaloosa, and to showcase everything our community has to offer. Thank you for your time and your continued support of recreation and tourism initiatives in Oskaloosa.
Well done,
Thank
Mackenzie.
you. Any questions? I'm a softball mom. So how many teams, how many people, and are we worried about lodging and stuff?
I was gonna ask
Those
that.
are great questions. All questions I just know off the top of my head, because this has been what I've been doing forever, like for months it feels like. So right now it can be a range of states. It depends on how many qualifying teams and divisions are submitted into Little League. So registration's closing right about now in most states. So we're thinking we'll probably have like 8 to 10 teams, but it could be up to 13. With lodging, we do have the entire Fairfield reserved and half of the Everspring already blocked out.
Wow.
We think that will get majority of our teams. Families, we're also sharing what was the Super 8 for them, and then all of our Airbnbs and our campgrounds in the local area.
Yeah.
Because depending on where they're coming from, the central region is like the Midwest to Ohio and over. So some like Nebraska or Missouri, they could be driving where they may pull a camper or something.
Sure, yeah.
So we're just, everything will iron out as we know the teams and states that are participating.
Good. Good to know.
That was my question.
I
Yeah.
have one question.
Oh, we could put up pup tents and.
Yeah. I assume you're working with Angie and Dia at the chamber to help get, like, I know a lot of people when they're out there, they want a map of like where is what downtown, places to eat, and then we're informing the restaurants, because I know previously they ran out of food on some tournaments, so
Yes.
the entire week might be a little bit different for them.
Yeah.
So something new that we're also doing just for MCRF in general is We're actually sending out postcards next week that list all of our tournament dates. This event will be included on it
That's
now that
good.
it's been announced.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
good.
And that'll go out to all of our local businesses, especially restaurants, just so that they can be prepared on a service side and a food side, because we do like to promote the businesses downtown and getting people up here. And that's what we're kind of hoping about, bringing them here on Thursday, the first day, is that they'll see our beautiful downtown and then they'll want to come back up while they're here.
Is there gonna be any concessions out there?
There will be concessions throughout the week, and we are talking about on the weeks that there's, or the days that there's morning games, we talked about like doing a coffee truck too,
Oh, okay.
because I'll be running on fumes.
The food trucks need to congregate, don't they?
Yeah, it'll be my coffee truck, but
My coffee. All right.
I think if I can add something, just that the central region, MCRF has the opportunity to host for as long as they wish. So this isn't just a one-time event.
Oh,
Like, let's
that's
try to do, like, this is, let's try to get it right and let's continue
We
to
get
get
it
it right.
right,
If MCRF chooses to do that, I mean, that's certainly your
yeah,
goal.
yeah, that's our
is
goal.
Fantastic.
multi-year.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
obviously the first year is to make that impression.
So we gotta impress them.
Yeah.
You do it once, and the rest of the time is a piece of cake.
Yeah, exactly. This first year, getting everything
First year.
planned. After that, it'll just be normal.
And we get some soccer tournaments going too.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
So,
So if somebody wanted to volunteer, would they reach out to you?
yes, they would reach out to me at the office.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Okay, item B. This is an opportunity for public comment on an application for a state revolving fund loan. The city of Oskaloosa. We're preparing the construction of a water resource recovery facility. Some call it a wastewater plant. Generally located at the site of the existing Southwest wastewater treatment facility. The city will be utilizing State Revolving Fund, or SRF, as a funding source for the project, and the Iowa Department of Natural Resources requires that the city hold a public meeting for citizens to come forward with any concerns about the potential environmental impacts of the project. And so there's the opportunity for public comment here. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Waiting for somebody who has a little cricket thing to. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. And I guess, the city council approval is expected to have no financial impact. So is there a vote on this? Or is it just a hearing? Just hearing. Okay, moving on. Item C. This is to consider a resolution approving the plans and specs for the 8th Avenue West reconstruction project. Garden and Associates have prepared the plans and specs. The scope of work for the project is removing the existing surface of 8th Avenue West from South M Street to the west dead end, then construction of a new 27-foot wide PCC roadway, and addition of sidewalk on the south side of the street, which is the design option the council selected at our meeting back on October 6th last year. Work includes, but not limited to, 1,215 square yards of PCC pavement, 256 square yards of PCC driveways, 146 square yards of PCC sidewalk, surfacing removals, subgrade preparation, subbase, site cleanup, and surface restoration. Engineer estimate was $190,539 for the project. If awarded, the notice to proceed would be issued around April 20th. It would allow 30 working days. Bids will be received and opened on February 19th at 11 a.m., which has already happened, and then, of course, the public hearing today. So this does require a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this?
Mr. Mayor, I did receive a comment from one resident who hasn't come. Just in the previous time that we took this, there was some commentary on possibly adding no parking, and she requested that not be included.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion of support on the plans and specs?
Move. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ibrahim?
Yes.
Sword?
Yes.
Allman?
Yes.
Caligiuri?
Yes.
Dross?
Yes.
Hermson?
Yes.
Holbert?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D is to consider a resolution awarding the contract for the 8th Avenue West reconstruction. And so advertised, bids let, the winner, or the low bid was Blommer's Construction, low bid of $141,828, which is $48,711, about 26% below the engineer's estimate. The engineering consultant for the project, Garden & Associates, reviewed the bids, recommends the award to Blommer's Construction. So do we have a motion of support for this?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm sure that Blommers has done work for us before. Well, it's actually, I don't know if it was one of your updates, Sean. It maybe is beyond that. There was a request for some contingency. I think it was $10,000 or $15,000 for your not use, but for this project in the event of. I wanted to understand what the in the event of was.
Yeah, the most common thing for that is just if there's a change order, so something happens on site, we find something that's unexpected, there's a little adjustment, we need a little bit more concrete, we need to over excavate a little bit, something like that. It's just, we don't know that. Instead of having to take it to council in order to get you to approve that funding increase, it gives us some discretion to just make those approvals. And that's standard. We've done that on every project that I've
Okay.
did.
And typically that percentage is between 5 and 10% of the project, depending on the magnitude of the project.
Okay.
And how many unknowns there are.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like with any construction project. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Sword?
Yes.
Allman?
Yes.
Caligiuri?
Yes.
Dross?
Yes.
Hermson?
Yes.
Holbert?
Yes.
Ibrahim?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item E is to consider a resolution affirming the city's support for awarding Phase 2 of the Southeast Connector project under the 28E agreement that we have with Mahaska County. And so we have a 28E to build the Southeast Connector. It's primarily funded by a RISE grant. 65% of the connector project is being funded by that grant, and the remaining 35% is split evenly between the city and the county. Phase 2 of the project was let for bids on February 17th. 5 bids received, and the lowest bid was from Metro Pavers in the amount of $4,780,747, which is about $1.5 million underneath the engineer's estimate of $6.3 million. So it came in again about 24% low. Of this amount, approximately $3,107,485.30 will be paid by the RISE grant, and approximately $836,630.66 paid by each City of Oskaloosa and Mahaska County. So the bid represents a savings of approximately $262,500 from the city's portion of the funding when you compare it to the engineer's estimate. Staff is recommending the council approve a resolution affirming the city's support for awarding the bid as part of the 28E Joint Public Service Agreement with Mahaska County for the Southeast Connector project. Do we have a motion of support for this?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Allman?
Yes.
Caligiuri?
Yes.
Dross?
Yes.
Hermson?
Yes.
Holbert?
Yes.
Ibrahim?
Yes.
Sword?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F. This is to consider an ordinance to amend Chapter 10.56. This has to do with municipal parking lots. This is the second reading of that. Staff is recommending the ordinance adding a new section to the Oskaloosa Code. The primary purpose of the amendment is to update the description of the free municipal parking lots to include designation of city vehicle parking spaces under the new Section 10.56070. It would also designate 5 to 9 spaces adjacent to the parking spaces on the north side of City Hall as for use specifically by appropriately marked city vehicles. Full document showing the changes was attached to the agenda item. It can be summarized as basically saying just what I mentioned earlier. Do we have a motion of support on this second reading?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caligiuri.
Yes.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermsen.
Yes.
Holberg.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Yes.
Sword.
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item G. This is to consider an ordinance to amend Oskaloosa City Code Title II, which is the Administration and Personnel, by adding a new section 2.92 to the code that creates an Arts and Culture Commission according to the terms and conditions thereof. This is the first reading of this change. So city staff determined it's desirable to create a new City Arts and Culture Commission to serve to encourage the cooperation and coordination of projects and activities in the field of arts and culture, so as to enhance the quality of life in the community. It's accordingly appropriate to amend the city code to add a new section formally creating and establishing an Arts and Culture Commission and set forth and clarify its duties, powers, and operational guidelines. Staff is recommending City Council approve and authorize the amendment to Title II. Do we have a motion of support for this first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on it?
They would just, when the time comes, they would just do a normal application, like do on the other boards and whatnot.
Yeah, they're an advisory, it would be an advisory board, so, and they would have the ability to receive funding requests, and if they received any of those, they would bring that to the city council ideas to, just thinking about the Little League is like an example of this with convention. There's basically any of the funding has to be used for convention or tourism.
Right.
And so if they had a need, they could come to that board and say, hey, we need some assistance to get this program up and running. That could be a perfect, just as an example of how that board could be utilized. And another one that's going to be coming up is the Hubble agreement, which they've changed their name a little bit there. But for the townhomes, they are going to be allocating $15,000 towards arts and culture on their project, and so this board can come up with ideas for them and come up with something great. But I want to still Stu's thunder here.
Steal his thunder.
If you're asking about how a person would apply, it would be the same as the boards and commission that we have really now.
Do we have any?
Are we gonna have a little blip on the city page about the new board?
Yes,
We should have some press.
Definitely advertise that for sure.
And then do we foresee any issues with, I think it was 3 residents of Mahaska County, or can they, are we wanting those outside of city limits? Are we specifying that?
So it is specified in there.
Okay, I didn't remember if that was in there or
And
not.
some of that was based off of the way that the library board is structured. And then Marion serving chair and co-chair, she is an outside, she won't be voting, but the library director will help with this, and so that the desire was to be similar. And if someone, let's say like a Nelson Pioneer Farm representative wanted to be on this, it would open up that opportunity.
Gotcha. Okay.
County.
If our members were from Oskaloosa, that would be okay too.
Roll call, please.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermsen.
Yes.
Holberg.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Yes.
Sword.
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
Caligiuri.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item H. This is to consider forming a city council subcommittee to assist in the development of a treatment agreement with Oskaloosa Food Products. City and Oskaloosa Foods are developing a new treatment agreement to establish acceptable processes and protocols for waste disposal. Oskaloosa Food Products has requested that the City Council consider forming a subcommittee to assist in the development of the treatment agreement. Staff has made the recommendation that they can negotiate the agreement without the subcommittee. However, the City Council might establish a subcommittee if so desired. So at this point, I need to open up, do we have a motion one way or the other?
So moved.
For
Not to have a subcommittee.
not to have, okay? Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion.
And the reason I said that is because staff can handle this.
Right.
Period. Now,
And it sounds like if it gets to the point where we need a subcommittee, that would be recommended. if we even need it.
If it was needed, we
Yeah.
could bring it up with council, but
Now, when
yeah,
it,
the agreement, and I was looking at, I was kind of reading through the previous one that we were trying to establish prior to meeting here, and it is pretty technical in nature, and I have a bullet point list of all the different things in it. So I think it is best handled by staff and our consultants that are working on this, and then bring it to council for discussion, and we can vet it as much as, you know, you'd like to as a group, but that would be the recommended way I would do it.
And I guess, have we talked, since Jason came to us and is wanting, I mean, have we talked to him about what you guys think the best way, or, I mean,
Yeah, I think he knows that. Did you have a comment, John?
We have talked to him about it.
I think he's
We have.
still desiring.
I'd also comment, if I could, you know, with Oskaloosa Foods being our only industry in town, sometimes things like this come across and we don't necessarily know how it's normally handled. So I go to the DNR a lot with, I have gone to the DNR a lot with some of the things involved in this situation to make sure I'm understanding what's normal and what's not. And they didn't really think a subcommittee was something that was recommended. They hadn't even really, I don't even think they've really heard of a community doing a subcommittee like that.
Well, that's kind of what I would want to know, kind of what the subcommittee's responsibilities would be anyway in this. Right.
I don't know, I mean, because I don't have no technical.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I'm worried, I mean,
I know
I
the toilet work.
Right.
Right, I don't have so much trouble as having a committee, but are we all, I mean, is any of us, I mean, obviously, I mean, I know a little bit about wastewater, but do we know enough to be on there to be helpful would be?
Right. Or would we just be?
You know.
That's kind of the
That's
concern
my
right
feeling.
there.
I'm gonna sit there and go, what Sean said.
Or take so much longer to understand the issue when
understand, yeah.
it could have been solved
Right.
weeks
Or
ago.
misunderstand an issue, or
Yeah.
just because
Yep.
we're not
Yeah.
technical.
I'm not passing the buck, but I am, but, you gotta have the right people on the bus to work on this. You know, now, when we talk about the agreement and whatnot, you wanna make changes to that, yeah, we'll be involved with that, but, I'm gonna rely on the experts.
And we will still get regular updates about what's going on. It's not like we'll be completely in the dark or anything, right? Okay, just for-
When it comes to council, that won't be the first time that we've heard about the framework, right?
Sure, yeah, we'll give you updates. on
Right,
things developed,
right.
and, yeah, for sure.
I mean, I do want to say, yeah, the relationship is important
Right.
for Oscar
Yeah.
Foods. So.
Yeah.
One more just little kind of side comment I'd like to make just so that council's aware. I think we've talked a lot about a pre-treatment agreement, and now we're saying treatment agreement is just the DNR. That's the language they prefer now, is to just say it's a treatment agreement, not a treatment. So if you see that, that's
Okay.
a
Okay.
change in terminology from the DNR.
Derek, I'm just curious what you think would be the pros of that.
Could you come to the microphone, please?
Yeah.
So I think, or at least I know, I should say, Jason's thought behind that was to have some council oversight with it. Especially when it comes to a long-term agreement. Just making sure that it's not up to one or two people that make these decisions, and it's the same thing with why we brought in like ISG, myself with the chemistry background, a hazmat chemist, an environmentalist, a lot of different teams. We're attacking this from so many different angles. So I think there's more of a comfort level for him to be able to say that, hey, we looked at this from every angle. We want council's oversight on this as well, and wants the involvement there as well. I agree that the technical side is probably more Sean and myself and ISG, right? But the oversight of writing the actual agreement, I think, is what he's looking for there. Just keep it in the council's eye, make sure that everyone sees it. Like I said, we're the only food industry really in town. And so we thought that there was some importance there.
And I think we would have that if you make changes, we'll be involved then.
I think we'll
Council
be.
will see.
Yeah.
So we'll see that.
Because we're not going to be recommending the changes because our backgrounds aren't in that. You know, you don't want me to write that for you.
That's good.
The biggest thing, like I said, is, you know, we want to make sure that we're setting attainable,
Right. Yeah.
treatment agreements, right? And I do think that, you know, starting this week. Let's hope that we're going to make some real progress on that. It's been a long month, guys. I apologize.
Yeah,
I'm
more,
exhausted.
I can understand.
But yeah, that's the whole idea. Is he really feels that the oversight of council would be really important there. That's really what it was about. And involvement. It doesn't hurt anyone to learn anything new either. And see what's happening. I mean, I've learned way more about SBRs and basins and different things in the last month than I ever wanted to know. But it's kind of interesting, and honestly, it'll help me a lot going forward.
As I've thought about it, I've gone back and forth on this thing.
Yeah, I know,
Sean and
I'm
talked
too.
about it. I think that there have been times in the past where we've had, I'll call them, I think a couple weeks ago we got caught up in formal, informal, and all of those things. So I hate to use the word informal, but I'm going to say it. Informal committees to review to review different topics or to get perspective on agreements and such, and I think that there's some value in that. Most of I would say all of those that I was ever involved in were not of the technical piece of it. It came more to policy setting precedent with a lot of those things. I think the conclusion that I've come to is that this is one of those very unique situations. I mean, there's only one Oskaloosa Foods, right? And this isn't something that we're going to go do another pre-treatment or treatment agreement next week or even probably next year. And so I will rely heavily on Sean and his team and Kelly, our wastewater staff, and Derek and Rachel and Becky and the team that you've assembled to build those parameters. And there's going to be disagreement on it. I mean, there's going to be healthy discussion. I mean, we all know that, but I trust our staff to communicate that to us. If council needs to get involved in that process, I think that our staff will do that, and ultimately, council has to approve that agreement. Right?
Yep. Yeah, I agree, Paul.
I mean, we'll look it over and then make changes if any, whatever, and then it's just a simple process.
Any other questions?
Says the engineer.
What's that?
Says the engineer. It's a simple
Yeah, right.
Any other questions or comments from council?
Comments would just be, Derek, so with that said, it may or may not give you guys a little more peace of mind, but I think from what I'm hearing, it's certainly feel welcome, once the agreement is done, to come on the day that we are going to present that to council, and everybody will be able to hear, and then certainly you guys can share your thoughts as to
Yeah, absolutely. Actually,
how things went.
I'll probably be attending your city council meeting for a while. If we make it at 5 o'clock, folks, I live an hour and a half.
Use your short straw.
Right. And yeah, again, Andy, I appreciate everyone's time and consideration.
Okay.
Thank you. Sean?
Something that might help a little bit. I mentioned I have a bunch of bullet points of what the agreement looked like before. Can I share those with you?
Yeah,
Please.
please. Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's going to be other components to this. I'm sure it'll be different. But so quantities, composition of the wastewater. This is kind of like the DNR's portion of very, very technical items there. Sampling, temperatures when testing, frequency of testing, what to do with results of sampling, analysis of wastewater through a certified lab, additional pollutants and volumes, concentration, discharge, facility access, notification of other parties in different situations, ability to accept discharge, record retention, billing. So those are what I jotted down from that agreement. So
Yeah, that's
kind of what you can expect, I guess.
Yeah,
And I'm sure there's going to be other things as we look at other agreements, but
it was a little heavy there on that old agreement where we wanted to pop up one day and do sampling. I was going back and forth on that one, if you recall, and it wasn't well taken, but yeah.
So,
I would comment that the language that I've seen in treatment agreements in other communities, that the city essentially has the right to test anytime they want to. I mean,
Mhm.
that's something that I've seen in other communities.
I do have one question. They operate on their own license, right?
We're ultimately responsible for the wastewater that goes into the stream, so they're operating under that.
Question is, why are they, I don't know if you might know this, but why are they under our license? Why don't they have their own license?
Because they can't discharge to the stream. If they were to, if they wanted to, they could pursue getting their own discharge permit and go through the DNR and be able to discharge directly to the stream. We would never touch their wastewater.
Okay, all
But
right.
that
So
would
that's
be a
fine.
pretty difficult process for an industry to go through.
Okay.
That's, I
Right.
even, you know, you see, like Des Moines obviously has some very, very large businesses and they don't do that.
Right. Okay, I was just curious.
So we have a motion and second not to do this. Roll call, please.
Hermson,
Yes.
Holbert,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Caligiuri,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Okay, item I is to consider a motion directing staff on which value engineering items from McClure that the staff should include on the final design. So getting into the list. So, you know, as an introduction, so back on February 2nd, McClure Engineering did a presentation as to what they thought would be some good things for value engineering, and we'll just go through them one at a time. So number one, by maximizing the rated biological treatment capacity to at least 4,000 pounds per day BOD, the staff would recommend it against it, saying that there was no significant value to the re-rating until the time that the northeast plant would be brought to the south, and no added cost to doing it later. That can be further investigated if bids are favorable enough to proceed with phase 2 of the facility plan. Staff also does recommend, however, the addition of a bid alternative for the fourth final clarifier. That would be necessary to accommodate the level of flow for the new treatment rating. Item 2, under preserving the existing anaerobic digestion system and supplement with sludge thickening and liquid storage. Staff is recommending against that due to concerns with uncertainties involved in rehabbing the system and also concerns with the ability of the proposed anaerobic system to work with the new design and the difficulty and logistics of construction that goes with that. Item 3 was to reduce the administration building and maintenance garage footprint. Staff recommended against that. The additional space would be useful in operations, protecting equipment, and additionally, much of the capital cost savings would be lost when you have to redesign the building. Number 4 was to reduce the site scope work. Staff recommended proceeding with revising the site work to remove a retaining wall that was originally penciled in, revise the groundwork accordingly, and then also recommends against removing the concrete surface due to the long-term operational challenges added by granular surfaces. So what I'd like to do is see if I can get a motion that supports everything that staff is recommending.
So move.
Okay?
Oh, that you wanted hands, sorry.
So technically, Joe moved his arm, but that doesn't count.
You have to speak.
So we have a motion, we have a second, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, discussion.
If I could have a moment, there's a few things that I wanted to add to the discussion before we move on, because one of the things that was brought up in the study session was the idea of rehabilitating the existing facilities instead of building a new facility. And that is something that was talked about early in our process, and it was deemed to be impractical, and I wanted to just present some information to explain why that is. So, the main thing is that our existing facility is overloaded on flow. Because of how much water mixes into our system, the overall flow rates, we're about 83% underloaded. We've been able to operate because just of the way we are, we've got enough capacity that we can kind of manage with the EQ basin, that we can kind of manage that. But in addition to that, we're overloaded on organic loading by about 20%. So if we were to rehabilitate the existing plant, we would have to build new capacity anyway. So we would have to build something. Even if we're rehabilitating the existing structures, we'd have to build more structures. And by the time we do that, I'm not to say we wouldn't save money, but we would not save very much money considering how many older structures we would be still using. I kind of alluded during that study session as well to the lack of redundancy in our existing system, which to some degree, if we were rehabilitating and building new structures, we could address, but it would be really difficult to do that, and some of them might not be able to. And then just generally the fact that they're deteriorating and too small is kind of a concern. So this is showing the existing, the primary clarifier, the irrigation tanks, digester, all just don't really have any redundancy in them. I'll go to the next one. This is showing again, we're overloaded. We have 5.5 million gallons per day that we would have input even if we have no growth. So that in addition to all those problems that are current, we just less than no room for growth. Same thing with our organic demand is the same. We have less than no room for growth on that side. So that's kind of the reason that rehabilitation was not really, it didn't really go very far after our initial conversations. And then there's just a couple of slides showing what the plan that is being proposed is. So 3 phases essentially.
Sorry.
Yep, that's fine. This is the first phase. This is what's being proposed to build right now is the oxidation ditches coming through the headworks, and then the 2 aerobic digesters, and 3 of the final clarifiers. And then if you want to go to the next
Is
one.
that the 1, 2, 3 there? I can't see the final clarifiers. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Now I see it.
Yep.
And you're gonna bid for a 4th, right, yeah.
There we go.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
This is phase 2 as it stands, assuming the plan goes the way it is exactly right now. This would be phase 2. We built the 3rd oxidation ditch and the 4th final clarifier. And then this would be the full build out in phase 3 would be a 4th oxidation ditch, a 3rd aerobic digester, a 5th final clarifier, and an expansion of the dewatered biosolids building. And then if you want to go to the next one. So this is kind of showing the more or less the plan if we do end up, if we do our bid with the alternative to add 4th final clarifier, and also it's not written into this, but there is a little bit of other work that's involved in that as an alternate. So if we do go forward with that and we get good bids, we move forward, and in the near future we construct the pump station and take the north plant down to the south. That's essentially the value engineering proposition. So what would happen is our design mode would end up at that middle area where we would be able to serve the entire community with what we would be building out, but we would have minimal excess capacity at that point. Which, if it's cheap enough for us to do it, then it could be in the interest of our community, because then and we can always expand later. That cost will be there. And if you go forward again, this shows kind of that alternative where the 4th is being presented as a bill alternative. If we end up building it right away, then we can move forward with that. If we don't, then it really will simply be the phase 1 we already had proposed. And then I believe we have one more with what the build out will be. So the final build out will be the same as phase 3 that was presented before.
Okay.
So yeah, this is essentially what's being proposed.
Okay. So this will be what's proposed for phase 1.
This is the motion that's on the table for
Yeah.
phase 1.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so everything in yellow, is that what you had on the previous thing we just talked about? The paving, the grading, all that?
Yes, the only thing that's in this that would be changed is to the north and west of the 2 oxidation ditches, that retaining wall is still
Retaining
shown.
Yeah.
They just hadn't gotten around to taking that detail out of the plans yet, but that's essentially the only thing on here that's different.
And what does that save us? What does that remove from the project?
I don't know if we isolated out specifically the retaining wall as far as what that price would be. It's more savings than just that it's a little bit simpler to maintain the area.
Yeah, it's all grass and.
Yeah, it's.
I thought it was pushing 6 figures though.
I thought it was like
believe all of-
150.
I thought it was too, yeah.
I believe that was all of the grade work. I believe all of the grade work improvements that they suggested would have amounted to 180, I think it was, in that alternative. But this is not all of them, it's that one. Some of the grading work things that they proposed are things that aren't practical due to where the floodplain is.
Oh, okay.
Can you go up a slide, Alex? This slide. Phase 1 gets us the capacity that we're lacking right now, that we don't have, and then some. Is that correct?
It gets us the capacity at the south treatment facility.
Yeah.
With some excess room for growth, yes.
So what is the bottom max load PE 3,300 persons telling us?
That is how much growth capacity we have. So
In
if-
phase 1?
In phase 1, if nothing else changed, we build out phase 1, and then 3,300 people move into town.
Tomorrow.
And they're all in the south side of town, we would be able to serve them with our treatment facility.
Okay.
But obviously, it doesn't necessarily have to be people, it could be another business.
Right.
And that's the
Right.
main purpose, is to serve the certified site. But it's easier to hear it as a number of people than to say,
Right.
you know.
That's unfortunate. One of the thoughts I had was, okay,